So we are talking about this morning some more rhetorical devices. Today we're talking about allusion. So we're on to slide number 1. Now, an allusion, as many of you all know, is a reference to a fairly well-known event, place, or person. You'll notice I said fairly well-known, which means that if you make some obscure reference, like what does the fox say?
80 million views and it's still obscure?
If I haven't heard it, it's obscure. That's okay. The point is, if no one knows what you're alluding to, the point of your allusion will be lost. It didn't work because you didn't know what the allusions were too. Okay, right. Good point.
I understood some allusions, but I still was like,
Yes. So, an allusion is usually short, and it is short, and it's usually not formally introduced. You don't really say, "I'm going to do an allusion now." You simply make your allusion, right? You might say something like Holden Caulfield would enjoy a good allusion. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Have you read Catcher in the Rye?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. An allusion also helps the reader understand your concept by invoking the ideas associated with the allusion. So a good allusion will give you, reader, much more depth to your point than simply trying to explain it on your own. Because when you say the allusion, it brings to mind all of the items associated with that person, place, or event. Are we ready? Yes. Yes. I don't remember. Most likely. Most likely. Well, you could actually find out by looking in and seeing what references they make and when those references first began, and then you could date it that way. Good. Yeah. It's possible. Although if it did take place in the 40s, you might... Exactly. Yeah. All right, moving on. Now, what kind of things should we allude to? Right? What kind of references should we make? And the answer to that is that they should be well enough known that readers will understand your meaning. However, the 3 most understood allusions and the 3 most popular allusions are, and in no particular order, Shakespeare, the Bible, and mythology. Either Greek or Roman, because they're very similar. Not so much, unless you're talking about Thor, and then you might get some. But
he's a superhero.
the lesser Norse gods might not be as
Superhero. Okay.
might not be as well known.
He's a hero. He's super.
Yeah.
So don't him a trip, guys.
Get your comics right.
DJ. Chill out, man.
You call
No.
me PJ?
PJ.
Wait, you call him
I
PJ?
called you DJ, but I'm gonna call you PJ from now on.
Don't call me PJ.
PJ.
No,
I like it.
Jenya,
What?
this is Healthy Choices Week. We're making anti-bullying our
It's not bullying. That's a friendly comment between two friends.
good. Yes. Quiet, please. We have a question. And the camera's going, so I don't want to waste time telling you to be quiet.
So when we make illusions, we can choose like other well-known things.
Yes, you
Always
can.
have to be mythology.
No, but I'm just saying these are some of the most well-known and most referred to. I think, don't quote me on this, I think the Bible is the number one most alluded to source, and second to the Bible is Shakespeare. So, those of you who don't like Shakespeare, you should probably get to know it because it will help you out in your literary lives. Yes. Some tips for using allusion. You have to keep your audience in mind. If you're writing an essay for high school students, you probably aren't going to allude to some random Shakespeare play that nobody's read, but you might allude to Romeo and Juliet because I'm pretty sure all high school students have read Romeo and Juliet, right?
That movie was really good.
Or if you're alluding to some obscure Greek mythology reference, not everybody will know that. Okay? Yes, that would probably be a wise idea. If you're writing to high school kids, make your references no more than Percy Jackson level, because that's where most high school people know.
I've never read a Percy
But it's
Jackson.
very good fact.
Sometimes the truth is harsh.
I know that's purposely. I'm past
Well, I enjoy Percy Jackson as much as the next person. It's quite entertaining.
True that.
We don't.
What were they doing in a casino? They were
Quiet
12
down.
years old.
Because it's the Lotus Casino.
There's no
Yes.
for one of the villains they needed.
All right.
They don't have an age limit.
See, but would you know about that if you hadn't have read the book? See?
The
So,
movie was on TV and I watched it for like half.
okay, there you go. All right. Moving on. So what I mean by don't use it in an inconclusive manner is that if you use an allusion, but it is sort of well known, but you don't understand what it's referring to, it doesn't make sense. Here's an example. This painting resembles Medusa. Well, does that mean it's a painting of snakes? Does that mean it's a painting of a monster? Does that mean it's a painting of an angry woman, right? We don't know.
She's also beautiful, so at one time.
That too, right? So this allusion here is inconclusive. It doesn't give the reader enough information. Okay? And an allusion can also allow you to use less detail, and you can let the allusion add the detail. So this can help to engage your reader, right? Because if you have to explain every little detail of every little point, it might get a little tedious. And the reader might be saying, well, okay, thanks for explaining that. Now you're making me sound foolish because I don't need all this detail. So if you throw an allusion in there, now the reader says, oh, I've heard of Medusa. I remember she's a gorgon with snakes for hair that turns people to stone when she looks at her. So now the reader has become engaged in your essay. Right? An example of that, he hammered the ball the way Babe Ruth did. Okay? We don't have to go into the Sultan of Swat, the King of Swing, or all those references to how Babe Ruth hits, because all of that is embodied in the allusion to simply he hammered the ball the way Babe Ruth did. Okay?
Is Paul Bunyan well known?
Paul Bunyan is well known, yes. Fairy tales are another thing you can allude to that people would know. Right?
Yeah, because of Disney.
So you might want to
Disney princess.
leave a trail of breadcrumbs for your readers to follow as they get to your point. Okay? Right? Allusion to Hansel and Gretel, yeah? Good. All right, some more tips for using. If we get there. If you include a happy allusion, something that has joyous connotations to it, it will lend a lighter cast to your writing. If you use an unhappy allusion, you can lend a darker cast to your writing. For example, if you like the title of that book that we had for summer reading, right? Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. You don't think that that's going to be about smelling roses, do you? No, because Wounded Knee was a terrible battle, right? So automatically, people are going to think a certain way about that specific allusion, right? If you allude to something like their love was akin to Romeo and Juliet,
Well, they both died.
it's automatically going to make you think, oh my goodness, these people might die. Okay? So, allusions allow you to instantly inject a different feel to your writing. Okay? And here's what we did that whole "What the Fox Says" song, because allusion to popular culture will tie your essay to a limited era, and anyone outside of that era might not understand what you're talking about. We should not make what references? You can, as long as you think I understand the pop culture reference. I know I don't have TV, so you should keep your audience in mind when you're writing. It's awesome. And we're running out of time, so let's go quickly. Wait? Okay. Are we ready now? Yes? All right, here we go. Some examples. The meeting seemed never to end. It was Zeus's eagle nibbling away forever at my liver. Okay. Who would like to explain that?
I forget who it is, but there's this one tale about, I think it's the guy who stole fire. Yeah.
Prometheus.
Yeah. And so his punishment for stealing fire and giving it to the humans was he was chained to a rock and
Yes.
like a raven
Every day an eagle came and
ate
his liver, and then it grew back and it ate it out the next day. Yeah. For eternity. So now you understand what this meeting was like, right? In a much better way than trying to say my boss was eating my liver and then right? You can't explain that. Okay? So you use an allusion. There was no burning bush, but he acted as though the instructions came from on high. Burning bush? Moses in the burning bush, right?
Bush is on fire.
And that was the bell.
We joke.
I will hand out. You know what? I have to sort of explain this, so we'll go over it tomorrow.